What's up, everybody, and welcome to Ohio Sports Talk. I am your host, Doug. Jordan will be here momentarily. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Just want to start off by saying a couple words here. This was going to be our last show on the Variety Sports Network. This is our first show now on our own network. And we are very excited to kind of venture out on our own and get started with our own thing. So first things first, I just want to say thank you to thank you to the Variety Sports Network for giving us our chance. Thank you for helping us create this platform and give us an opportunity to do something we really enjoy. It means a ton to us. So thank you. Jordan, any thoughts on the Variety Sports Network who helped us get our start on this show?
Oh yeah, thanks can't be enough. Thank you to Brandon, Darren, Jimmy, Tyler, all the people that we've worked with. That I'm sure you'll still see them around here and there. The working relationship is not done, but the direction that you and I, both lifelong friends, family, even, we kind of had this idea, and we're gonna evolve it and create something of our own. But thank you to the network itself and for the many people that we worked with. You'll see them around, but we're definitely going to advance us, and we're going to be more Ohio, and it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a good time, and all the viewers that are coming with us, buckle in. It's going to be a great ride.
Yeah, well said, Jordan. Appreciate that. Sorry about the dog in the background, everybody. We just wanted to take that time and mention them because that was an important part of our journey. Next step, though, Jordan, it's March Madness, man. We've got a lot to discuss. The Dayton Flyers made it as a 7 seed in the tournament. They will play Nevada on Thursday at 4:30. That's a huge game for Dayton. Akron also made it. They won the MAC tournament. They're going to play the 3 seed Creighton this coming week. Jordan, I'm going to pull up the bracket for us. Give me 1 second.
Good.
Tomorrow when you have that 1-2 tandem, that's going to be tough. Plus, LSU has that experience taking it all the way to the championship
down here in the
game.
corner,
Last year as a 3 seed,
we're
going to see that again, and we'll see another championship rematch possibly between Iowa and LSU. I love how Iowa is playing as of late. I know I'm going to
this is the women's bracket even better
in the chat already.
We'll talk about Ohio State women here shortly.
Are chatting already, but I look at the matchup on this one.
Here's the men's bracket. Sorry,
in last year's
we've got Dayton down here in the corner,
Monica
playing
Sonato,
against Nevada,
and also McKenna.
And then we've
Warnock.
got.
They're at.
I would say that was playing some audio.
Yep, I'm switching it here. Oh my gosh, my dogs! 1 second. The dogs are losing it. But like I said, Dayton is playing Nevada round 1. What are your thoughts on Dayton's first round matchup?
I'm shocked they're not a lower seed. They definitely ended the year with a little bit of a whimper. So I'm happy with it in the sense of they got the 7. Nevada's a tough opponent. They played solid basketball all year round. We don't get a lot of coverage of them here in Ohio, but ever since their name was called, I went back, I watched some of their earlier games, saw some of their statistics, and it's definitely going to be a good one. Nevada's got some size and speed, and they're going to match up well with Dayton.
Yeah, for sure. One thing I'm worried about with Dayton or with Nevada playing against them, they've got really good guard play, really strong at the guard position. They've got Blackshear. He is averaging 30 minutes a game and just a really good guard. And then they've got just a plethora of big guys, like you mentioned. A couple guys in here averaging over 5 rebounds a game. Dayton struggles with rebounding. Luckily, Nevada isn't a fantastic rebounding team. And I think that's where Dayton's going to have it's going to help Dayton by playing a team that does not rebound the ball as well. What were your thoughts on getting sent out to Utah for the bracket. What were your thoughts there?
I'm going to kind of circle back to what I said. Dayton kind of deserved it.
Yeah.
They didn't finish strong. So it, it kind of, the old saying, it is what it is, but I'm excited, first time in years that we're actually back in the tournament, post COVID, when we got shut down literally right before the tip off of the tournament was going to start during that the team that was put together. So I'm happy to see Anthony Grant back in. He's got experience as a coach. So we're not we're not dragging our knuckles in anything that some players and coaches have been there before. So this group's definitely ready. I think outside of A10 play and early tournaments in a year, they played fantastic. Whenever we play a non-conference A10 team, they have a tendency to bring it. Maybe it's just because the outside teams, they don't have Dayton scouted quite well like the Atlantic 10 does. You look at the Cincinnati game, kind of sticks out. I know they kind of had an up and down year too. But you look at the game they played against Houston earlier in the season. It came down to being out rebounded, but we know Dayton can throw punch for punch with some of the big team conferences out there. So I'm happy to see where they're at. Nevada's a good kind of measuring stick. Like you said, Dayton for once is going against a team that kind of is in their range when it comes to rebounding. Nevada's got more like pure size. They have quick guards, but I think Dayton matches up well with strength underneath with Deron Holmes. And if our 3-point shooting can kind of get back to what was the best 3-point team in the A10 conference, if they can find that, Anthony Grant can unlock that key, if the self-motivation on going to the big dance, that's always kind of an extra gear that you get anytime you go at the conference. I think they'll be fine. I think it's going to be close for the first probably mid second half. And I think Dayton's going to pull away with some size and some of the guys that we have going to the NBA, or at least prime for the G League. So give me Dayton by 10.
Wow. By 10?
By 10. I think it's going to be
crazy.
But I think Dayton's going to pull away by 10.
Okay. I like that. Dayton versus Nevada. It's at 4:30 on Thursday. Give me the Flyers by 3. I'm not going to be as bold as Jordan. Jordan's a little bit more wild with his predictions than I am. I'm going to play it a little more close to the vest. Jordan, next game on our agenda, though, is Akron versus Creighton. Now, this is going to be a tough one for Creighton, or for Akron. I mean, the Zips take on Creighton Blue Jays. Creighton right now favored by 13.5 points. What are your thoughts there, Jordan? Because Akron's a team we watched win the MAC title on a pretty crazy play where the Kent State player fouled Akron up a point, and then Akron makes the free throws and goes on to win the game. Thoughts on Akron and Creighton? Creighton, really, really solid team out of the Big East. Go ahead.
I think Creighton's going to bring it. I'm happy to see Akron kind of finish their story. They got hot late in the season, and in college basketball, sometimes that's all you need. But they played consistent basketball week in and week out, so I can't say anything too negative about Akron. But Creighton's kind of a different force than what they've seen. So definitely give me Creighton. Creighton's going to win this. I think they're going to win it by 6. I think Creighton's kind of a stretch. Kind of what I really want to say, when you're in a tournament, you kind of play better, and I think Akron's going to play out of their minds, but it's not going to be enough to edge out Creighton. It's going to be a good story. It's going to be a good game going into the first half, but Creighton's going to pull away. Creighton has more size underneath the rim, and I think that's just, in the end of the day, a Big 12 team against a MAC team. And we've seen upsets, so I hope I eat the sandwich. We're the Ohio station here. I'm pulling for Akron, but from an analyst standpoint, I got Creighton by 8. So give me Creighton.
Yeah, I think that's fair, Jordan, because here's the thing. Creighton, they're just more talented at every position. They've got the advantages over top. Sorry, guys, I'm a little choppy here, dealing with some Wi-Fi, but I'm going to battle through. Creighton, give me Creighton by, I'm going to go under the 13.5. I'm going to go 11. I think Creighton, I just think they're better at every position. Shout out to Curtis. Love the 316 in your name. Shout out to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Love you, man. Appreciate you stopping in. New Mexico to the Sweet 16. That's an interesting pick. I kind of like that. They're a very talented team. But yeah, Akron, I think, is uphill battle. I think they lose by 11. Jordan, have you had time to actually look at a bracket yet?
I've had time to look at the bracket when it came out.
Okay, look just to get it out there. What team are you looking at to win the title this year?
I don't think it's going to be necessarily a 1 seed. That's
okay.
I think you're going to see some upsets in the second round, but that's a tough one.
It is.
This year kind of screams out. You see a lot of teams almost even across the board when it comes to the bigger conferences. Duke is riding hot right now, even though they kind of fumbled in their tournament. Kentucky got outed, but they get hot. But I honestly like my bold prediction. I'll make a bold prediction for a team in a Final Four. Give me Florida. I think Florida is going to make
Florida.
They have played almost some of the fastest basketball up and down the court I've seen in the last month and some change. And their guard play is just kind of on another level right now. So if you watched any of the closing of the SEC tournament, they showed that on full display. They look like a team that's locked in and kind of ready to make some noise. So I think Florida makes it to the Final Four.
Shout out again, Curtis. He's picking UConn. Curtis, I'm going to ride with you. Curtis goes by CJ in my other group chat. Really appreciate you, buddy. But yeah, I'm going to pick UConn. I just think they're the best team. They're the most balanced. They got great 3-point shooting. They've got really strong big men. They've got a fantastic guard that can really set the table for everybody. And they've got role players. You have to have role players who fit their position, who can do their job. And I think that's what UConn brings to the table is a complete team. There's teams like every now and then Houston could come out and sneak up on you and play fantastic defense for 40 minutes and beat you. But I think UConn has that consistency that teams like Houston do not. I would love to see a Houston versus UConn championship or Final Four, but those are the type of games that I'm looking forward to. Jordan, let's transition though. Let's talk a little women's hoops. The Ohio State women, they get the 2 seed. They're going to play.
And they'll face today's
Maine,
Missouri Valley champion, 12-seeded
their
Great Bulldogs.
Their conference.
They're riding a 14-game win
not a
streak.
high
That's
note
the 10th
coming out of
longest
this
active win
for
streak in D1,
the
and again,
OSU
they won the
women.
Missouri
Jordan,
Valley
after that loss in the Big
Championship, so they will
Big
face
Ten tournament, what are your
Colorado
thoughts here?
in the
That's
first round as we
a
continue
very
through the
much
Regional 2
winnable
bracket in
first
Albany.
round game for the women.
And we move on now to your 3-14 matchup.
I think that the Ohio State women are
The
they put in
Tigers,
but
defending champs.
that's what they needed.
Look, LSU is playing some of their best basketball. I don't think anybody in that bracket wants to see them when you've got to face an Angel Reese, a Michaela Williams, and a Nisa Morrow.
We're having trouble hearing you, Jordan. Check your connection.
Poa is back, healthy. Listen, LSU is going to be a team to have to reckon with.
Just 1 second.
I would love to know what's going on in Kim Mulkey's mind
but
right
yeah,
now.
what you were saying,
she's wearing her
bounce back game for the OSU women against Maine. And then we get to see them take on, in the second round, we get to see them play Duke or Richmond. To me, those are 2 teams that Ohio State should beat. I don't see them really having a problem until UConn in the third round. The UConn women with Paige Beckers is trouble. She is a absolute world beater of a talent. I think Ohio State could very well get upset, unfortunately, in that third round against UConn if we get to that point. Jordan, any thoughts on a potential Ohio State versus UConn game down the line?
I would love to see it. I think a lot of analysts would love to see it too, especially in the women's NCAA bracket.
Yep.
Given UConn's rich history for their tournament runs as well, I think that would be a prestige game, and it'd be kind of the measuring stick of Ohio State women's hoops going forward, especially on recruiting and the way the NIL may or may not pan out in women's basketball.
Yeah, well said. So yeah, we'll be looking forward to that. They play on they also play. They play on Friday night, or they play on Friday at 12 p.m. Definitely be a late game for Ohio State. But really excited to see the women get back out there and have another go at it after a tough Big Ten quarterfinal against Maryland. Jordan, next on our docket for college basketball, we're going to talk a little NIT. Ohio State men play at home against Cornell. To me, this is, Ohio State's a 10.5 point favorite. This is a game where they should dominate from start to finish. Any hiccups here you can see for the Ohio State men against Cornell in the NIT?
If Ohio State comes out a little bit too cocky, it could be a trap game and first of all, let's congratulate Diebler. No longer.
I was going to say that right after, but yes, keep going.
Coach, we got to recognize a job well done. Our guy was already there. I'm absolutely thrilled they didn't really look outside because the players' response to him was enough volume for me, and I kept hitting the table the last couple of weeks for him. Yeah. And I'm glad the Ohio State athletic department saw what everybody was talking about and made that decision. But it could be a trap game because we barely lost to the team that went and won the big tournament.
Right, Illinois. Yep,
got their key in there, and you're looking at a game that we should dominate from front to back. But you got to look at that team is probably now more excited to play Ohio State than anything. Ohio State just got their head coach. Ohio State's been kind of in the news for making the 6-2 run since he took over. Mm-hmm. So it could be a trap game. I think Ohio State's going to pull it out, but they've got to come out and step on their necks early and often. So that first half, they've got to come out and dominate on the boards. They've got to make the threes happen, which they struggled with at the end of the big tournament. I think they went 3 for 12 from the 3-point line. Can't happen when you're playing an NIT. All these teams are just we're outside looking in this year. So I'm excited for the matchup. Ohio State should be on cruise control, but it could be a trap game if they let all the outside stuff that's kind of happening with the team distract them.
Okay, I think that's well said, Jordan. Darren, great to hear from you. Hope to talk to you again soon. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for everything you've done for me personally. You've really helped me get better at this in a major way. I will definitely be talking to you soon, but thank you, Darren, for all your help. Jordan, like you said, trap game. I think you could be right there because this is the highs of you got your new coach, you pushed Illinois to the brink. Is there going to be a letdown? Could there be a letdown? I think they handle Cornell. I think they win by 8 or 9 points, and I think they move on to that next round of the NIT. And I think this would be like a really big building block, in my opinion, for the program. What if Ohio State, they have a tough time with Holtman, who took the DePaul job, Jake Diebler, who fantastic, love to hire, 5-year hire. I really appreciate them giving him an opportunity because it sounded like he was going to get the Pepperdine job if he didn't get the Ohio State job. Worley is a great player coach. You can see the guys love playing for him. The energy he brings to the court is second to none. Like you said, I think you really put it together perfectly. I don't think this is a trap. I think the guys, I don't think there can be a trap game when you got a coach like Diebler and this momentum behind them. You got to take this momentum, put it towards Cornell. They come through, they win the NIT. You go out, you go out and you get a couple extra guys. I saw one of their top recruits already signed on to stay with Ohio State. That's huge in recruiting. That first domino falls. Hey, I'll stay with the coach. You never know. The rest of those dominoes could fall in behind, and the recruiting class could even get better because they want to come and play for a high energy guy. I think that's all going Ohio State's way right now, and I'd love to see it. I think they beat Cornell by 8 or 9. I think it's a good win for Ohio State, and they move on in the NIT. And they just keep rolling. They keep getting better. Win the NIT, boys. Let's see them go out and win it. Jordan, next on our agenda, let's shift our focus to the NFL. A lot going on here. Let me pull up. We're going to talk Bengals free agency first. I'm going to have you kind of go through, and I'm going to have you kind of grade Bengals free agency. We're going to talk a couple of the players that you guys have signed, and then we'll move over to the Browns. But give me your thoughts here on Bengals free agency. First things first. My favorite signing that you guys had this season was Geno Stone. I think he really brings something to that defense. Ball hawk at safety. Jordan, what are your thoughts on Geno Stone?
Geno Stone was about the biggest high for me here on the Bengals free agency. Geno Stone gives us that really presence we desperately have missed since the departure of our starting safety over in Atlanta. So
Jesse Bates, ouch. Ouch.
And we also had to weather a storm of losing Von Bell as well. Dax Hill, I'm not taking anything away from the man. He had a couple turnovers early in the season, kind of looked sharp, but as the season went on, the communication on the back end looked a little bit back. And I know he is working with Nick Scott and Jordan Battle. We're constantly rotating, sometimes even snaps in the middle of the game, because that was a position battle within itself. So I know that it's hard to have continuity when you look over and it's a new guy on your left and right. They got decimated in the secondary with our corners as well. We had a lot of rookies and new guys kind of had to step in. But
right. So what do you give this ranking here for Geno Stone? What's on a letter grade? What do you give him?
The Geno Stone signing is going to be a B+.
B+.
Be with it. They could have made a bigger splash, but Stone solidifies the back end of the defense when it comes to secondary, and that's what we need. Dax Hill, whether he's going to move to a slot corner or split, or maybe we'll have some 3 safety looks to be determined. But this signing is a B+ for me. It's not quite an A, but it's definitely something the Bengals needed, and we got Stone on tape. I mean, we play him twice a year.
Yeah. So
it's definitely somebody the Bengals knew, at least performance-wise.
Okay. Let's talk running back position. You guys cut Joe Mixon. Well, trade Joe Mixon. You get a pick back, but you sign Zach Moss. Have you changed your mind on the Zach Moss signing? I've been watching Joe Goodberry putting out some clips of Zach Moss. I like the guy's game. I think he's a good ball player. Have you changed your mind on Zach Moss? Go ahead.
I have. As you know, through our private conversations, that I was really hard on it. Mixon's been a lifelong Bengal. We've had him for about 7 seasons now. And just anytime you see a regime change, it's kind of disheartening. I mean, he had 1,400 all-purpose yards, so I'm not going to take anything away from Joe Mixon. He definitely brought it. 1,400 yards in a season. But Zach Moss is somebody that has shown with his time in the Colts, and I had to go back, just like Goodberry was putting it out there. I had to go back and watch the tape. And every time he got an opportunity, he took it, and he's performed well. And he brings something to the Bengals we haven't had. Pass protection is huge. He's graded out really well for pass protection. His tape for pass protection looks amazing. We try to keep we almost paid Piron $26 million to stay in town for third downs and pass protection. So the fact that Zach Moss can come out as a starting running back and give us the non-rotation, which, every time we put Piron out there, everybody knew we were passing the ball. So right. There was no surprise there. It was just kind of straightforward. Zach Moss, maybe he changes it up. I'm going to give it a B.
A B. Okay. So you've changed your mind. You didn't love it when we first got here.
Correct.
You've upgraded him to a B. Okay. I can appreciate that. Like we said, Joe Mixon now to the Texans. Texans re-sign him for a bigger deal. Jordan, you guys bring in Mike Gesicki. First things first, the guy's going to have to learn to gritty if he's going to play for the Bengals. I'm sure Jamar Chase will be on that. But thoughts on Mike Gesicki? In my opinion, the guy is a very serviceable tight end. He has a little bit of red zone upside, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on Mike Gesicki?
Mike Gesicki reminds me of a tight end, Benjamin Watson. If you watched him play in New England and New York, and even some in New Orleans, this guy fits the mold. He's a guy that's going to be reliable. He knows passing protection really well. He can run block really well. So Mike Gesicki, he always puts up numbers wherever he goes. Last season, I wouldn't put too much stock into it. we all know New England had a quarterback corral.
Yeah.
That was kind of it made it hard for anybody to put up stats. So
Right.
I'm happy. It was a position desperately needed. If we weren't going to take it at 18, we had to get it in free agency. So Giuseppe with Sample, re-signing just kind of solidifies that we have a tight end group. Joe Burrow's going to get him. Joe Burrow's going to find him if he's open.
Yeah,
no question.
Sure.
Or any tight end that's come in and played with us the last 3 seasons, they've went and got bags everywhere else. So Joe Burrow's probably going to elevate his gameplay. I'm happy with it. I give this one an A. It was a position that was sorely needed, and the guys that were on the roster weren't quite going to crack it. So bringing them in on a 1-year deal, I'm happy to see it.
Do you think by any chance you guys still draft the tight end of the future late? I know we're going to talk NFL draft in much more depth here in a couple weeks, but any thoughts right away on this signing? Is there a guy maybe you guys are looking at later in the draft?
Later in the draft, I honestly like us to draft the tight end from Ohio State. I touched on it with Jimmy a few weeks ago. Former linebacker turned into
Stover, Cade Stover. Yeah,
Cade Stover. He finds a space when you need him to find it, and he matches up against linebackers really well. And he goes out and run blocks like no other. So I'd like to see him if he's there in round 3. I would love the pickup. But right now at pick 18, the Bengals
tackle.
It's got to be tackle. We have no answers for it at the moment. So
yeah, we'll definitely talk more draft as we move along. You guys cut Nick Scott. We knew about that. The big D line upgrade, Sheldon Rankins. Jordan, what are we thoughts here on Sheldon Rankins? Didn't he have 3 sacks against you guys this past year?
He had 3 sacks. He had 3 sacks that actually ended the game.
He beat you guys up a little bit there in that Texans Bengals game. But what are your thoughts on the signing? Because we know the stats. We know he's a really solid player. What are your thoughts on the signing for you guys?
It gives us the 3 tech that I've been pounding the table about probably since last year. The Bengals haven't had the 3 technique from the defensive tackles since the departure of Larry Ogunjobi, and before that it was Geno Atkins anchor to bear. So we haven't had the 3 tech. So to see Rankins come in and give us a real kind of a pass rush, I give this a B+.
Okay.
It's a solid signing. We lost our run defender to Detroit, so that's still where we picked up a pass rusher. We lost a solid run guy, but that can be addressed on day 2 of the draft. So there's some big tackles coming out of the SEC and especially the Big 12. So I'm excited for that. But Rankins, he was kind of the best available at the position group at the time we were signing. So I give him a B+. The organization did right by bringing him in. He's definitely going to free up some pass rushers. He's going to, Sam Hubbard and company, probably more involved than they have been in the last 2 seasons. So I'm happy for him.
Yep, I think it's a solid signing also. I think him with Hendrickson and Hubbard, like you said, I think that just helps in general. That your guys' line is definitely formidable up front. Jordan, you guys solidify the back end of your defense here with you started with Geno Smith. You kind of closed the door on the room here with Von Bell coming back. Thoughts on and grade on Von Bell returning to the team after his stint in Carolina?
I'm happy about it. It's a 1-year deal for a guy that's kind of advanced in age for NFL play. Obviously, he's a phenomenal athlete. You and I have got to watch him at Ohio State and further. Mm-hmm. He's somebody that's been a Super Bowl winner when he was in New Orleans, so definitely not going to take anything away from him. I'm happy to see it because it brings the communication back. And that goes back to my first statement with Stone. We looked really lost in the back end of the defense, and the safety positions looked extremely new. Not taking anything away from Jordan Battle. He's a national champion over in Alabama. But as a rookie, he definitely looked out of place with Dax Hill, who kind of was in his second year of starting and first full year of starting. So Von Bell kind of solidifies the communication. He's going to come in. We know what he does on the blitz. We know what he does on the run support. We still have Mike Hilton in the nickel, so maybe Von Bell gets in there for a few blitzes, some limited packages we get his legs rested up and make a deep playoff run. So I give this one an A. And the reason for that, it's not that Von Bell brings in advanced athleticism at his age. It's the leadership. The Bengals were in desperate need of some leadership and some voices, and Von Bell brings that to the table.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's a good score. Veteran leader, like it says here in the article, I think that's solid. Jordan, that pretty much rounds out free agency for you guys.
Let's hit on you guys.
Yeah,
big splashes.
Let's talk free agency for the Brownies.
And they brought a Bengals familiar face on the back end of the O line. So
yeah, you'll have to give us a little insight on him. Okay, so Jordan, we'll start at the top. Recently, we brought in Tyler Huntley to another guy in our QB room. Here's the thing. I always thought he was a serviceable backup. Is he the home run hitter? No, he's not. But I think he's serviceable in those situations, and I think him and DTR are going to battle for that third string spot. I would say it's a C move because it's not meant to be a home run. So I'd give that a C. Any thoughts there on Tyler Huntley?
I agree with you. He's definitely a depth piece, a guy that's been in the league for a little bit, so he's not going to be lost when he's called upon to come in and perform. So a C grade's fine with that. He doesn't bring anything extraordinary to the team, but you're not losing anything in experience on the back end.
Yep. So moving forward, that one we expected. We re-signed Roddy McLeod, veteran. Just a veteran, a guy who can come in and fill a role, play the position well. I'll give that a C+ because I like the depth, he's the guy you can trust. You trust him in your secondary. He knows what to do. He knows the calls. Coming off the torn bicep, you kind of worry. He's getting up there in age. He's an older player, but I think that's a solid depth piece. I'll give it a C+. Thoughts there, Jordan?
I'd agree with you. As a Bengals fan, I didn't get to watch this player much and the rotation that he brings, but you definitely want to keep your core together, especially, going into a year where you made the playoffs. So you keep that veteran leadership, you keep that voice in the locker room. It's definitely that feels to me more of a team signing. So.
Yeah, that's for sure. Moving down, we signed Devin Bush, played for the Steelers, played for the Seahawks. To me, he's a rotational player. He's going to come in on certain packages. Coming out of Michigan, there's a lot of hype around this guy, and he hasn't really been what I would call lived up to his hype per se. But I think the Browns go out and they do a good job of bringing in these guys who maybe haven't hit home runs in other places, and they come in, they're solid, and then they move on and get another contract. Those type of guys. Devin Bush, to me, I'm going to stay at a C. He's an okay football player. Like I said, certain packages we could see him on the field, but overall, I think it's more for depth. What are your thoughts on Devin Bush?
I'm going to disagree with you a little bit because I was pounding the table, hoping the Bengals, if we were going to re-sign Akeem Davis-Gallers as a rotational linebacker, that he was definitely on my radar to come in and fill that role. I give this a B. I give this a B-.
Okay.
Quite a C. I think Bush still has some athleticism left in the tank.
Yeah.
When he's allowed to play freely, he plays on a high level. I think this was a guy that was overdrafted and has suffered from that. But it doesn't take anything away from when he's on the field. He's still getting things done. He still kind of has a knack for turnovers. He finds the ball in certain situations. Mm-hmm. And for Cleveland's defense that's stacked, especially on the defensive line, to bring a guy that can, bring you that pop off the bench in a linebacker rotation, you have to give this a B. But I wouldn't go far as a C because Devin Bush, he's been in the AFC North, so he knows what kind of football he's got to play. Being a former Steeler, he knows the Browns organization a little bit for familiarity. So
his dad played for us back in the day. There's some old pictures surfacing of him in front of his dad's locker. That kind of stuff always is super cool. So I think this is a good signing. I think you're closer to the right grade than I am. Next, we bring in another blocking tight end, Giovanni Ricci from the Panthers. Just he's a solid blocker. We're going to have him in the run game. If he can catch a pass, great. If not, if we could keep some tread on Njoku's tires and not have to have him out there blocking for the full game, I'm into that. So give me another C+, because that, to me, it's it's not a home run. It's not one of the top tier tight end. It's a guy who's going to come in and do his job. Might even get to play some fullback here and there. You never know with what Stefanski can draw up, him and Dorsey. Yeah, C+. What are your thoughts? Blocking tight end.
I'd agree with you there on the C+ grade. I still think you guys are going to draft one on day 3 and bring in competition in camp and let them kind of duke it out when it comes to the tight end position with everybody behind Njoku, because you're going to find a second pass catcher. There's no doubt in my mind for that. Stefanski is wonderful at getting guys in positions to perform at their highest level. That's something that he's been the whole reason the Browns have turned around. Honestly, they make splashes here and there, but kind of what you were saying, taking guys that were kind of maybe being winched over or looked over, and I think you're going to get some performance from them. But a C is fine, because I think you guys are going to draft one. I think there's going to be some competition in camp.
Okay. Next, Quentin Jefferson from the Jets, interior lineman, providing more depth. He's coming off his best season for sacks. Not a big number, but a solid number. A guy who's going to come in and get to play with Myles Garrett and get to play with Zadarius Smith. That can only make you better as an interior lineman, working with those guys. So to me, I'll stay in the C's, man. To me, these are all singles. They're all singles. They're all, setting you up to score runs. They're not home runs. They're to set you up to score runs. These are little pieces that help build a bigger picture. Give me a C+ for Quentin Jefferson. Sounds like you want to go higher.
I got to interject here. Quentin Jefferson, if you watched him last year, the percentage that he was on the field because of the Jets' inability to do almost anything on offense.
Yeah.
And as much as he was on the field and as tired as he could have been and the numbers that he put up, this is an A, Douglas. This is an A.
Wow. You're going for an A for Quentin Jefferson. Wow.
Yes. This is an A. This is a guy that's going to overperform on the Browns on levels that, I'd have to almost say when, Clowney getting 9.5 sacks with the Baltimore Ravens. This is that same situation. You're bringing a guy that is kind of going to be winced over. But you look at the Jets organization and how shitty they played and the absolute train wreck they were at the end of the season. Yeah. Quentin Jefferson was often if you watched him in the Kansas City game on the Monday night game, I believe it was Monday or Sunday night on prime time, Quentin Jefferson took that game over, was in Mahomes' space constantly, and even batted down a ball that went to an interception to himself. So Quentin Jefferson, to me, in the times that I got to watch him, because the Jets were televised quite a bit last year, because everybody was going to be the Aaron Rodgers show when it came to contracts. He showed up night in and night out. And if you go back and watch some of his highlights and on film last year, he's a guy that popped up quite a bit. So I think he's going to be a stellar signing for the Cleveland Browns this year. I'm excited because I wanted him on my team. I thought he was a great rotational piece and somebody that can come in and change the winds of the game. When he outperforms himself on week 1, I want to play this clip.
Okay, we will clip this and we'll keep it in the archives.
I'm giving it an A, Douglas. I'm giving it an A.
All right, I like it. I'll take it. Hey, next on the list, Cleveland signs special teams go-to guy Tony Brown to a 1-year deal. Anything to help the Browns special teams is an A for me. They need special teams help. So just right off the bat, I'm going to give that an A. We don't have to linger on that one too much. Just quick grade from you, Jordan, on that.
I give it a B. He's a solid player.
Yeah, that's fair. We know Flacco went to the Colts. More power to him. Jordan Hicks, that's a guy who's gotten better every season, in my opinion. And I think he's going to be our starting middle linebacker come week 1. I like the signing. I'm going to go B. Thoughts on Jordan Hicks, a guy who we've seen get better and better.
I'm going to go B+, so I'm right there with you. B+. Definitely a solid guy, a guy who's he's kind of forged his way into the league.
Yeah.
Makes himself a presence when he's on the field. He does well in pass coverage, which is a huge thing for the Browns being an AFC North right now, with especially what's going on in Pittsburgh. And we know Natty can pass, so that's definitely somebody you need, when it comes to coverage. So I was happy to see him be with the Browns and move forward.
Okay. Next on our list, a guy you're familiar with, Hakeem Adeniji.
Yes.
You weren't thrilled to lose Hakeem. What are your thoughts here? Because I'll let you grade this one since he's coming from his Cincinnati background. What are your thoughts on Hakeem?
This is a B- signing.
Really?
He's a depth piece. He's a depth piece, but he brings the Browns experience. He brings the Browns Super Bowl experience.
Yeah.
You look at him, we asked him to play tackle and guard in Cincinnati, and he played both during the Super Bowl. He actually rotated mid-game. So that is a guy that works his absolute ass off. I know he's a 6th-round pick. I know he can be stiff at times coming out of the block, but he is a guy that's going to give you effort night in, night out. And if he ever has to step into a role, he started for Green Bay last year. He started all 16 games for Green Bay. So that can't be overlooked. Definitely, that's an offense that kind of shined there at the end of the year. So,
okay. Well, we'll leave it there for that one. And then we also signed Nyheim Hines. Nyheim Hines is the guy out of the backfield who's a good pass catcher. He's just really solid. Another former Colt joining the great state of Ohio. Nyheim Hines, I'm gonna give him a C+ because we take some of the initiative off of Chubb because coming back off of major knee surgery. Not everything's going to be clicking. Not everything's going to be perfect. We're going to need a guy. I think we still draft a guy also, Jordan. So I'm not going to go over the moon with this pick or with this selection because I think there still needs to be another guy. But I like the pickup because I think he's really dynamic in the pass game. Thoughts on Nyheim Hines?
If you weren't going to bring back Kareem Hunt, this is a good signing. If you don't. It means you don't have to spend a high pick in the draft for running back. So it kind of solidifies your rotation. So I'm happy with it. I'm happy with that C+ grade. It's not somebody that's going to, bob your eyes off paper, but it is somebody that's going to bring it. You have Ford there. You have Chubb there. So you get this guy who's got experience starting, with everything that was going on with the Colts, kind of the same, situation with the running back, the Moss that we signed. Definitely had some playing time there, so I'm happy with a C+ here. He's a guy that you don't have to put too much prep in. He's already a pro. He's been in big games. His numbers been called in situations. So if that injury bug does hit again, you got a guy that you can count on.
Okay. Yep. No. Great job there, buddy. Really enjoyed breaking down free agency with you. Jordan, anything else before we get out of here? I got a couple small points I want to hit on. And then, what do you got, man? Do you have anything before we get out?
No, I think we covered it all. I'm excited to where this journey leads us next. We've been talking about this for a long time. I think we're only going to get better. Our viewers are going to enjoy better content week in and week out, and we're going to go from there. I love you to death. You're my brother. Let's rock this moving forward. Yeah, nope. I appreciate you as always. Here's some points. I want to thank everybody who came out and watched our first episode. First episode on the new regime. We're going out. We're betting on ourselves. We're going to try something different here, and we're going to be putting out content. We're going to be putting out content on Twitter. We're going to be putting out content on YouTube. We're going to try to keep improving, guys. So thank you to everybody who watched this first episode. It means a lot to us. There's our YouTube channel right there, Ohio Sports Talk. Go out and give us a shot. Hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. And thank you to everybody who listens on X. We're going to be hitting X hard. Yes. We already are trying to hit X hard. We appreciate every single eyeball we get on X. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. Jordan, I'm going to ask you on the show. I'm going to put some pressure on you. Are you ready to go 2 times a week? Yes, sir. We discussed it, and I'm ready to launch. So, as Matthew McConaughey would say, all right, let's rock it. Okay, so guys, we're going to be coming 2 times a week starting this week because of March Madness. I think we come on Thursday night
after the Dayton Flyers game, we'll give a recap, and we'll touch on some of the sports we missed throughout the week. And, we'll either be really happy or we'll be really sad, Jordan, but we're going to come on and we're going to talk about it. And we're going to try to make this the best possible show we can. Thank you. If you have any comments, criticisms, critiques, helping points, hit us up. If you'd like to come and talk sports on the show, hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on YouTube, in the DMs, anywhere you can. We will be looking forward to it. Again, guys, this has been Ohio Sports Talk. I'm Doug. That's Jordan, and we will see you guys Thursday night.
Yes, sir.